Hi, hello, namaste. This is Surabhi, your master teacher of chemistry at Vedantu. And today, as you all know, we are starting a new chapter, carbon and its compounds. But have you ever wondered why we don't have phosphorus and its compounds or sodium and its compounds? What is so special about carbon that we have a different chapter to study only about its compounds? That is a valid question. And why? What makes carbon so special? Did you know that? It is called as duct tape of life. Duct tape, yes. So why means I know water is very important, right? For the survival of the living beings, water is really important. I agree. But so look around you, the plants, the animals, every living being and even the non-living being. So if I look around plastic, rubber, so they all have carbon. So carbon is the one which brings the atoms together. It bonds with its own type of atom or the other atoms. It loves to carbon bond. And have you ever wondered why it's called as carbon? So one thing we know is coal, right? Coal is a form of carbon that we all know. But the name carbon, it has been derived from the charbon. So that means coal. So that how the carbon got its name is because it's basically coal. 3 facts about carbon. Let's study more about carbon. So what makes it so special? Why are we studying a separate unit called as carbon and its compounds? So before that, let me tell you about our pro subscription plan. If you are going through a lot of problems when it comes to studies, like doubts, notes, tests and assignments, whatever the problem may be, so you have this one-stop solution which has solved all of your problems. Doubts, notes, tests and assignments, competitive exams, schedule, choice of language. So you will be able to prepare your own schedule. You can opt the kind of course you want. So long term, your micro course or crash courses. You will have an option to choose the master teacher you want to study from, the time you want to study at, and the chapter or the subject. Only at Vedantu and unlimited live classes. So whatever the problem is, we have tried to figure out a solution so that your learning will be very smooth. If you want to be a pro subscriber, if you want to take up the subscription and if you are very happy, अच्छा finally कुछ solution मिल गया. So all you have to do is just visit vdnt.in/ytpro and 3 easy peasy steps. Select your grade, select the target and click onto the get subscription, and do not forget to use the coupon code SURPROY because you will be getting additional 15% discount. So if you are just looking for it, if you want to just see acha what is it, so you can go for 1 month subscription if you're very confident. I'm like yes. So because 6 months, if you take up the 6 months subscription, you will be able to save 40%. Then go for it. So whatever is fine with you, but all you have to do is just visit vdnt.in/ytpro and do not forget to use the coupon code SURPRO so that you can avail some extra discount. Coming back to our carbon. So in today's session, I'll be discussing about what type of bonding is there in carbon. So you're all thinking about James Bond. No, it's only about carbon bonding and allotropes of carbon. So I told you that before 5 minutes ago. So how important carbon is. As I told you, just look around. Even our body has 18.5% of carbon. Okay, and you know that carbon dioxide and methane, natural gas, so many things around you, it has carbon in it, right? So you can, you can name so many things which has carbon in it. Yeah, the ink, carbon, so many, the shoe polish, and whatever the soot you get after burning, the charcoal, coal, it all has carbon in it, right? So what about the composition then? It is considered as one of the abundant element, okay? So in Earth's crust, in the form of minerals like carbonates, hydrogen carbonates, coal and petroleum, you have 0.02% of carbon, and in the atmosphere, you all know it as carbon dioxide, it has like the composition is 0.03%. But this is abundant, Hanji. Yes. So carbon is considered as one of the most abundant element found in the Earth's crust. Now coming to its bonding, what makes it special? That is what we are concentrating on today's session. Okay, why carbon and its compounds? Okay, so what is the electronic configuration of carbon? You're all answering no. You all know. If it was a live session, I could have asked you what to do. Recorded it. So what is the atomic number of carbon? That is the first thing you have to know. It is 6. So 2, 4. Okay, so what is this valency? First thing, I have already made a video on it also, because most of you get confused between what is this valency and valence electron. So valency is the combining capacity of an element, okay, whereas the valence electrons are the number of electrons present in the valence shell, outermost shell. So the electronic configuration of carbon is 2, 4 and its valency is 4. Okay. What do you mean by that? It can form 4 bonds. Simple. Okay. But it has 4 electrons, and we already know that to become stable, to attain that stability, to have that octet configuration in its valence shell, it needs 4 electrons. It can gain 4 electrons or it can lose 4 electrons, so that if it loses 4 electrons, it will have the stable electronic configuration of your helium atom. If it gains 4 electrons, then it will have the electronic configuration of your neon, that is 2, 8. So what will the carbon choose? Will it lose 4 electron and get the electronic configuration of helium, or gains 4 electron and attain the configuration of neon, or it has its own plan? Let us try to figure it out. So one thing we know that it has to have this noble gas configuration, then a element is said to be stable, right? This is the reason elements tend to react. The reason why they are reactive is because they are like, I want that stable octet configuration or duplet configuration. Our carbon is also same. Hanji, theek hai. So what usually in case of NaCl or CaO, we have already studied that the elements, they tend to achieve or attain the stability by losing or gaining electron. So there will be complete transfer of electron from an atom to another atom, and there will be strong electrostatic force of attraction. This is something we have already learnt. So you can give plenty of examples for this: NaCl, magnesium chloride, calcium oxide. Okay. So one thing here is, in case of carbon, as we have already discussed, it has 4 valence electron. See, in case of the sodium chloride, it was very easy for us. We're like, sodium has 1 valence electron, so let it just transfer it to chlorine, whereas your chlorine had 7 valence electrons. So it was very easy, right? So one will give, one will accept, and there was bonding. But here the problem is, it has exact 4 valence electron. It can either lose 4 electron or gain 4 electron. But what do you think the carbon will do? If it gains 4 electron, it will form C4 minus ion. That means it will have 6 protons and 10 electrons. Can you imagine how will the 6 protons hold 10 electrons? So when adding only, then it will face lot of repulsion. Okay, your 6 protons cannot hold all the 10 electrons. So this C4 minus anion, it will be unstable. Nahi hoga. So first thing is, formation of ion is only difficult. Even if it was formed, it will be highly unstable. So gaining 4 electrons, nah. Now, how about losing 4 electron, ma'am? Yeah, let's try that also. See, one thing we already have learnt is, so whenever you have to remove an electron, you need some energy, right? To lose one electron only, it has to have some energy. Okay, now here we are talking about losing 4 electrons. So this process is not feasible because it would require large amount of energy. Okay, so nahi hoga. Okay then. See, there will be, it has, so first it has 6 electron and 6 proton. Now you have removed 4 electrons. It has this C4 plus cation. So the energy required to remove all these 4 electrons will be very, very, very large, and so this reaction is not feasible. Are you? So losing is also not possible. Gaining electron is also not possible. Then how do we have so many carbon compounds around us? What is the type of bonding you can see in carbon? It is covalent bond. So what is this covalent bond? Very, very, very simple. So you have 2, 4 carbon. Okay? So let's bring one more carbon with the same, obviously the electronic configuration has to be same. So there will be sharing of electrons between them. So then just either even I can't lose electron or gain electron, you can't do it either. So we will just share the electrons, and the type of bond formed by sharing of the valence electrons is what is known by the term covalent compound. So you have so many covalent compounds: hydrogen, chlorine, they are all covalent compounds. H2O. Here there is no transfer of electrons, so no one is gaining or losing an electron, there will be sharing of electron. So carbon dioxide, we'll take an example of carbon dioxide now. So it has 4 valence electrons, and when it comes to oxygen, it has 6 valence electron, but it needs 2 more electrons in order to gain the stability. Okay, this is how the electron dot structure of carbon looks. Let me just change the color. So now you can see carbon has only 4 electrons, but it is in need of another 4 electrons in order to attain the stability. You know what it will do? So it will share the electrons with the oxygen atom. This is how it will be done. So now if you can count the number of atoms, the electrons that belongs to carbon, it is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is the kind of bonding we see, right? Double bond. So now oxygen, let's count for oxygen also. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Bingo. So all the 3 carbon, 1 carbon atom and 2 oxygen atoms, now they are stable, they have the octet electronic configuration. So how did they achieve it? By sharing of electrons, and this kind of bonding, it is known as covalent bonding. Let's take one more organic compound only, methane. One thing we know is hydrogen has 1 electron and carbon has 4 valence electron. Okay. So your hydrogen, 4 hydrogen atoms are near your carbon atom. Cool? So each hydrogen atom has 1 valence electron, but it needs 1 more in order to attain the helium ka configuration. Your carbon, it needs another 4 electrons. Now what happens? So these pair of electrons, it will be shared between carbon and hydrogen. So at the end, 4 single covalent bond will be formed, and this compound is known as methane. See now, this shared pair of electron belongs to hydrogen. So this hydrogen, it is stable, and this 2 electrons belong to this hydrogen, it is stable. The same thing, the same goes for the other hydrogen atoms too. Now coming to our carbon, as they are shared pair of electrons, so obviously all these 8 electrons now belongs to your carbon. All the 5 atoms are stable now, and this is what happens, and this is the reason you find so many carbon atoms as it is tetravalent. Tetravalent means it can form 4 bonds. So imagine 1, 2, 3, 4, another carbon, another carbon, another carbon, hydrogen, again it will continue. So how many types of compounds you can form? That is the reason carbon has so many different kinds of compounds. So the carbon, what is the type of bonding you can see? It is covalent bonding. So example, as I have already told you, hydrogen, it has 1 electron, another atom was also 1 electron. Let it share. We all know sharing is caring, right? So this is exactly what happens, and you will get hydrogen molecule. Each atom now has 2 valence electron. Chlorine, same thing. Nitrogen, see, chlorine it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another chlorine atom, same thing. And these electron pair, it will be shared between both the atoms, and that is how you get chlorine molecule. And in case of nitrogen, there will be 3 bonds between 2 nitrogen atom, and oxygen, there will be a double bond between 2 oxygen atoms. How? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both the oxygen atoms need another 2 electrons. So this is how we write, right? Oxygen molecule, there is this double covalent bond between 2 oxygen atoms. So now these 2 shared pair of electrons belong to both the oxygen atoms. They both are stable. In case of nitrogen, it is triple bond will be formed, as it has 7 the electrons and 5 valence electrons, so it needs another 3 electrons. So this is the kind of bonding you see in nitrogen, and it is stable. So after this sharing, so if you can count the number of electrons, both the nitrogen atoms have 2, 8, 2, 8, right? That means they have attained the configuration, the stable octet configuration. And the same thing happens with the lot of other carbon compounds also. So most of the carbon compounds, so how are they formed? It is because of the covalent bonding. Now can you draw the electron dot structure for ammonia molecule? Ammonia is NH3, right? So what happens? One thing we already know, Anji. So nitrogen has 5 valence electron, it needs another 3 electron, and every hydrogen atom needs 1 more electron. We'll try. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is 5 valence electron. Hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. So there will be 3 single covalent bonds, and this electrons which they are not being utilized in the bonding, they are called as lone pair of electrons. Lone pair, because they have not been utilized, so they are just waiting for their turn. Okay, so this is called as lone pair of electrons, and this is how ammonia molecule will be formed. The same thing with water also. I want you to write. I really hope that you have taken the paper and you are writing, okay, because the electron dot structure, the structure formula are very, very important. You have to know how exactly the sharing of electrons take place. Okay, you're writing, no? Methane we have already discussed. So this is the type of bonding you can see in the carbon compounds, which is known as covalent bonding. So the bond formed by sharing of valence electrons. So it is what is known as the covalent compound. So what are the properties of covalent compounds? If you look at ionic compound, let us just compare. Okay, ionic compounds, they have high melting and boiling point. Why? Because as there is this opposite charge, there is strong electrostatic force of attraction. But Covalent compounds, no. Even though there is force of attraction, but it is not strong as in our ionic compounds. So usually the covalent compounds, they have low boiling and melting point. Okay, and coming to the conductivity of electricity and heat. So your ionic compounds, they have charged species, Na plus Cl minus. So there will be free electrons, but in case of covalent compounds, as the electrons are shared between atoms, no charged particles are formed. So generally the covalent compounds are poor conductor of electricity and they dissolve in the organic solvents. So one thing is like dissolve like. So organic solvents, they are non-polar. So most of the covalent compounds are also non-polar. So they tend to dissolve in organic solvents. Okay, usually the carbon compounds, they do not dissolve in water. So this is what is about the type of bonding. So how exactly the carbon compounds are formed? Covalent bonding. Okay. So and it is tetravalent. That means it can form 4 bonds. And one more important property is called as catenation. Okay. As its size is small, okay, the bond formed will be very strong. So you know what it does? So it will just form this long chain of compounds. So it will just go on bonding with the other carbon atoms. It can form different types of compounds, long chain of compounds, and that property is what is known as catenation. Okay, so the tetravalency and the catenation property is what makes our carbon so versatile. One more thing is allotropes of carbon. So what are these allotropes? So it can exist in different forms. The chemical properties will be same, but the physical properties will be different. So based on the arrangement or the type of bonding in the atoms, between the carbon atoms, so you can see different physical forms of these carbon atoms. So example, you have diamond. It's known as the strongest natural substance, right? You have graphite where it is very, very soft, it is slippery, and you have fullerene also. So if you look at them, their properties are completely different. The physical properties, your diamond, hardest natural substance, and it has very, very high melting and boiling point. It is used in cutting glasses and all that. Why? Because of its high strength. Whereas graphite, it is very, 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 very soft. It is very slippery also. That is the reason we use it in the lead, in the pencil and all that. And it is a very good conductor of electricity. Whereas your diamond is not. How? Both are made of carbon only. So in case of diamond, every carbon atom, it is bonded to other 4 carbon atoms. Okay, so no free, all the 4 electrons have been used up. But if you look at the graphite, in the graphite, every carbon atoms, each carbon atoms, it has been bonded to another 3 carbon atoms. So one free electron is there in case of graphite. So that is the reason your graphite conducts electricity, whereas your diamond, it does not. So every single sheet, okay, it's a sheet-like structure which can just slide over one another. So every single sheet is known as graphene. So that is our 2 allotropes. What is the third one? It is called as fullerene. It is also known as Buckminster fullerene. So the first invented fullerene is, it had C60, 60 carbon atoms. So sometimes you see in the spherical form, and a few fullerenes will be in the tubular forms. Also, they are used as superconductors. Okay, so these are the 3 allotropes of carbon. So what is the homework is, I want you to tell me what makes our carbon such a unique element. So why are we studying about the carbon in a separate chapter? So that is what is your homework question. Please let me know in the comment section and let me know how was the session. If you have any doubts, you can always ask me. So in today's session, we studied about bonding in carbon atoms, and allotropes of carbon. So what will we be discussing in next session? Okay, so I will go deep about the versatile nature of carbon. So we just touched the surface. Let's study in detail about this versatile nature of carbon in our next session, which will be, of course, very, very, very interesting. So thank you so much. And if you have any doubts about this pro subscription, so just visit vdnt.in/ytpro and use the coupon code SURPRO. So once you visit the site, so you will know it's very easy, 3 steps. Select the grade, target, and click onto the get subscription. So whatever the plan you are okay with, just go for it, but make sure you are using the coupon code SURPRO so that you will be able to get some additional discount. Thank you so much, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe. If you are new, make sure you have subscribed and click onto the bell button so that you will never miss a video. Okay, you can always reach out to me at surabhi.r@vedantu.com. Thank you so much till now. It was your master teacher of chemistry, Surabhi at Vedantu. I'll be back soon. Till then, take care. Keep loving chemistry, elementary chemistry by Vedantu, and your master teacher, Surabhi. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.